Okay, so you have now you have a file here with the shapes, and these are on separate layers. And there's also transparency around them, so that's important because After Effects layers works better with transparency. Um, right. So then what you want to do is if you want to animate something like that, you go to After Effects. It's the AE icon, so you just click on that, and it's a popular animation software. Well, you've heard about it. Okay, so what we do when we go to After Effects, we do a new project. So we click on the new project button. It's gonna take you to a new project just for you, right? So this guy here is like the locker. Everything you're gonna use for a project gets put into this window here, and this is where you move things around to animate. And then down here is your timeline. Is how you control the time of your animation, how fast and how slow things go. There's other windows here where you can hit play and stuff like that. Okay, so what I want to do is from my folder, I'm gonna look for that shape file, and this works with any file that you want to animate on separate layers, and the shapes happens to be set up that way. So I'm gonna drag this into the project tab here, just drop it in there, and what's gonna happen is you're gonna see this little window pop up. It's basically asking you how you want to import your Photoshop file. And most of the time, we'll be using this composition, retain layer sizes. There's these other ones, but we'll be using this. So if you ever forget which one it is we use, because remember, have other periods, I use all three. So you want to make sure you choose this one, retain layer size, the one with all the longest answer. And then make sure this is editable layer styles right here. And then you're going to hit OK. So now once you hit OK, you'll notice you have two items in your project tab now. Is you have what's called a composition and then a folder. The composition is where you animate because you're composing a movie, right? And then the folder is basically contains all your layers that we had in Photoshop. See, what you want to do is you want to stay away from this folder and don't delete anything here because you may be corrupting your work if you do. So stay away from the folder. Just leave it there. Focus on this guy. You just double click on the little film strip icon, and it'll take you directly to your composition. It looks just like the one in Photoshop. It's in the same order like as your Photoshop layers. You'll see here in the timeline you got your layers. Okay, and the reason why we keep them in separate layers in Photoshop is that when we bring them in, we can move them individually now. See, so up here is your toolbar where you get to use the selection tool to move things around, like I just did a second ago. And then you also have the rotation tool. These are the first two you're gonna be using a lot. The rotation, when you click on the rotation, you can rotate objects. So I'm gonna go back to the selection tool, and all right. So animating something is really easy. You just have to kind of think about things logically. And let's start with a circle, right? I'll put the circle somewhere here on the left side. Oh, actually, you know what? Before I continue, the blue lines, see how we got rid of them in Photoshop, but they're still here. You can remove them here too. You just on your keyboard. You just click Command semicolon, and they go away. You could also go to View and choose Show Guides. See how it's checked? You just uncheck it, and they'll go away like that too. All right. So the circle is here on the left, and you'll notice that your layers when you click on something, it's selected here on your layers too. See, so you can select things here or here. Notice each layer has a little arrow. Okay, you open that arrow, you'll see that it'll collapse something called a transform control. You just have to click on that arrow too. You're gonna find these guys here. These are animation controls, and there's 5 of them. We'll talk about this one later. Right now, we're just focusing on these basic 4 right here. We can't use this yet for what we're doing right now, but we'll focus on these 4. And then we'll start with this one, the position control. Now, you'll notice that there is a stopwatch next to each control. When you click on that stopwatch, it turns blue. And that means you can animate it. That means it's active now and I can animate it. But if I have it turned off, I can no longer animate. I can move things around, but they're not going to animate. You got to have it turned on for them to move. This guy here is the indicator. It's like the one in Toon Boom where you go back and forth. And I'm going to move this to the beginning. And I'm going to turn this on now so I can animate it. So you'll notice that once you turn that on, wherever your indicator is, we'll put a little diamond shaped thing. That's a keyframe. And the keyframe says that the circle is currently here. That's what that means. This frame says this is here, and that's what this means here, this little diamond, this keyframe. Okay, so now let's say I want the circle to move to the middle, right? But you have to think about how long it's going to take for it to get there. So if you estimate, well, maybe it takes about a second to get there. Then you can move the indicator first to 1 second. And then you can move the shape to where you want it to go, to the middle. And you'll notice that now I have 2 keyframes. The moment you move it, it's going to add one where you estimate at the time. Now, if I go to the beginning and I hit spacebar, you'll see that you have animation on that shape. And so now I can go forward. Let's say I can go to 1 second and a half, right? Which is right. Because see, 2 seconds is right here. Every 30 frames is a second. That's what you see. 110, 120, 130 is 2 seconds. So I'm going to go here in the middle. So 1.5. Maybe the circle went another different way. I went up. So the moment you move it, it's going to create a frame there. And it's going to move in that new path. Notice the path 2 appears whenever you add a movement to it. That means it's going to follow that path. Okay, so now I'm going to keep moving it around just to test things out. And you'll notice every time I move it, it's creating a frame. Notice I'm using different times. I don't go by seconds. I could go by half seconds, by third seconds, if that's even a word. And it's just going to follow that path. If I do sometimes you may do too many, so you can actually select and delete the ones that you actually don't want. Okay. So, kind of like Toon Boom, if these are too far apart, they're gonna be slower. If these start closer together, it's gonna go fast. All right, now I'm gonna animate rotation. I'm gonna start from the beginning. And rotation works the same way, except you are animating with the rotation. You're turning it. So if I turn that on, my first rotation keyframe is at the beginning, because that is where the indicator was. And same thing, I want it to turn upside down, right? So I now have to estimate how long it will take for it to do that. Maybe it takes 20 frames. Maybe not even a second, because I want it to turn immediately, right? So now it's gonna be hard to see it with a circle, considering turning a circle looks the same. Let me change it a little bit. There you go. So you can see it turning. Now I can take that rotation tool and I can rotate that circle. Ta-da. And you'll see that at the moment I rotate it, it adds a frame for that. So now it's going to be moving and rotating at the same time. And same thing, you keep going forward, you can rotate it some more. Okay, right now, scale. Scale means that you can animate the size. Now you don't always have to start at 0. You can start later. Maybe the size doesn't change until after 1 second. So nothing happens at the beginning. Maybe later. So I'm gonna put this here. See, and I'm gonna start there. Now I'm gonna go. Maybe it takes a whole 2 seconds. So let me go to 2 seconds. And then I can change the size. Then you fix it up a little bit. Now it's smaller. So you'll notice that I have normal size, and it's going to be a smaller size here. So if I scroll through this, you'll see the animation of the size getting smaller. Okay. Opacity is the same way. It's the same thing, except you're animating the transparency. Right now it's fully visible. You can lower the value so it's like a transparent shape. Okay. You can animate that too. Um, if you do one too many frames, you can delete some. And that is basically, in a nutshell, how you animate the different layers. And again, each of these has its own controls. You see that? One thing I'll mention that I don't know if I mentioned that in class. If you hit the letter P on a layer, you'll see position only. If you hit S, you can see S, the scale only. R for rotation. If you want to see two at the same time, you hold down Shift and you hit the other letter. So P, I can see both position and rotation. Shift S will show you scale. If you want to remove one, just hold Shift and hit that letter, R, and it'll show you a few at a time. Otherwise, you can see all of them together. And they're all hiding in the transform controls. All right.